Morning. Good morning, everyone. Hope you've all had a really nice weekend. We did. If you were at the retreat, we did. We had a beautiful weekend, or at least Saturday morning. Yeah, it was really nice. Nice way to end our retreat here. Good morning, Dawn. Sorry you couldn't make it to retreat on Saturday. That would have been nice. Still, it's going to be more. There'll be more. Okay, I'm just going to wait for a little bit, as usual, to get everyone on. Wait till everybody gets on. Come on, how'd you come? Okay, I'll shuffle the cards. They're probably still in their retreat little bundles. Hi everyone, I can see everyone's on. I'll just wait for the good mornings. There we are, good morning. Hectic weekend. I bet it was a hectic weekend, Don. You need a little bit of this morning. Yes, I can imagine. We'll have one of them this weekend coming here. Good morning, Sal. Oh, you have no sound. Good morning, Joe. Can everyone hear me? Hi, Karen. Is it just Sal or is it me? I think you'd be able to hear me because Don's replied to me to a comment. So just let me know though that you can hear me all right. And so let Sal know in the comments. Oh, it's you. Good, Sal. Okay, cool. All right. So, thanks, Don. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Joe. All right. Awesome. So this week is our practice where we do a short practice, and this week we're doing another mantra meditation. That being said, I am going to do another live in the group a little later, but on Friday coming, so if you're watching this on the replay and you're curious, let me know, but I will put up another post. Thanks, Pam. Good morning. So next Friday, the 12th, we're having a Zoom tutorial on JAPA meditation. So mala meditation, mantra meditation, reciting mantra. If you got one of these, awesome. If not, also awesome. Come along. It's $5 if you're not in the membership group. You're in $5. That's it, and you'll get me for an hour-ish. I reckon it'll take to get through some of what it is, what is mantra meditation, what is japa meditation, why do we do it, how do we do it, and the different ways you can incorporate it. And we'll be experiencing some different mantra meditations also. So $5, I think that's pretty fair. Come and join me or us and see what it's like. See if it's your jam. If you've been having trouble meditating, if you find it really difficult to sit and meditate, or you're always looking for an out, or is this enough? Is this enough? Is this enough? Then highly recommend japa meditation. It's a really great way to practice meditation. Okay, more on that later. Let's pull a card. Let's see where we end up today. Is it going to be a card that we have had before? Is it going to be a new one? Let's just see. This one. Oh my lordy. Okay. Just so you know, I did not plan this at all. But the fact that it's come up, I think we're going to just go with it for the rest of the month, because it's ease. So this was last week's card. It's a card that I pulled for the collective on Saturday. And the fact that it's come up again today, I'm definitely going to make this our monthly card. And it so fits with today's mantra meditation as well. So last month when we practiced our mantra meditation, we used the meditation Soham. This week we're going to use something different. So let's just turn it into the rest of the month, because the mantra in this card, let me just find it to remind you. I think it's right at the back. Yep. The mantra for this card was and is, as I simplify, I find ease. And we can very easily and beautifully turn this into a mantra meditation. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I will walk you or read through the card again, just in case you didn't hear it or just in case you need a reminder. And then what I'm going to do is turn this mantra into our meditation, our recitation for today. And I will time it by running through my beads. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the timing, but I'm going to run it through on my beads as far as the time frame is concerned. Okay, honestly, I'm not sure how long it will take me today, because every day is different, to do this mantra. It may be one run. It may be the full 108. Let's just see how long it takes. And this is something that we're going to explore on Friday in the Zoom tutorial. Okay? So let's just take a moment first. So if you need to get your wiggles out, maybe you have a shake or whatever you need to do, if you need to get your wiggles out. If you need to do a little practice first and you're on the replay, feel free to press pause. And traditionally, depending on your lineage, you would practice your asana first and then pranayama and then meditation. But a lot of traditions practice meditation first. So, and then of course you can just practice meditation. So if you feel like you need to get your wiggles out, get your wiggles out. I'm going to settle you, as far as this class is concerned, live. I'm going to settle you with the reflection of this card and then slowly move you into the mantra. Okay. So just take a moment. Maybe your eyes are closed. Maybe they're open with a soft focus, soft eyes. and listen to the words of this mantra, of this card, and just see how it lands for you today. So maybe a few sighs are in order first. Feel where your feet are, touching the floor, your mat. Maybe it's your ankles if you're sitting cross-legged. Feel where your bottom, maybe the back of the legs comes in contact with your chair or your cushion. Feel your nice, beautiful, elongated spine. Soften your shoulders, your jaw, and your face. Soft eyes. Just come to notice your breath. I'm just going to read out the card for you. Ease. May it be effortless. And I encourage you to turn this into a somatic exercise, a somatic meditation. Notice in your body, in your nervous system, how you respond to these words. And again, through the meditation as well. To stretch out by a tranquil sea is to know ease. To swim with the current rather than against. To trust the waves to push you lightly toward land. To know enough to rest and release. To breathe into tranquility. May you be guided by simplicity. May you savor serenity. May your journey flow smoothly. May you allow yourself to unfurl. And the mantra that we're going to go with and stay with for the rest of the month. As I simplify, I find ease. So just notice how that feels in your body. Notice if there's any stories that come up with this, any emotion, any, funny little feelings in the body. Just see what's bubbling up to the surface. As I simplify, I find ease. And you might already intellectually be saying, yeah, that makes complete sense. If I simplify what I'm doing, it will be easier. And this time of year, I need to do that. How can I simplify what I'm doing through December to create more ease for myself? So that being said, as we go through the mantra meditation, as we recite the mantra on each bead with each breath, you're planting the seed. Okay, so the mantra, as I simplify, I find ease, is the seed. Okay, your intention. And then we plant the seed each time we recite the mantra. And then we let go of the outcome. We allow the messages to come intuitively throughout the day. Just trust in the process of your practice. So this really is abhyasa and vairagya. Keep coming back to the practice and letting go of the outcome, trusting in the process. Okay. So I'm going to lead you in, and there's a few different ways we can do this mantra, but I'll work that out how I want to do that today for you along the way. Okay. So just taking a moment again, just to reground, just to tune back in if you've wandered off a little because I've been talking. And come back to your natural breath. Notice your inhale. Notice your exhale. And at the pause at the end of the exhale, tune in and notice your soma. Notice what it feels like in your body, your mind, your nervous system. What does it feel like to be you in that moment? We inhale and we exhale. And we feel. So as we go through this mantra, we're going to inhale and we're going to repeat the mantra as I simplify, I find ease. As I simplify, I find ease. Actually, let's change that up a little bit. On the inhale, let's recite as I simplify. On the exhale, I find ease. That will be much better for your breath to begin with. Okay, and then I will move us through each bead as we do that. So inhale as I simplify, exhale, I find ease. And then in that pause, what do you feel? Find ease. So we're planting the seed that as I simplify my life, I will find ease, and this is what it feels like. Okay? It's a beautiful way to bring somatics into your practice. Alrighty. So I will get you started for quite a few rounds. Yes, we might be at different paces, but maybe just to begin with, you could keep up with me, but just see how you go. And then I will leave you to it, but I will tell you when we're at the end, okay? So an inhale and an exhale to prepare, and then inhale as I simplify. Exhale, I find ease. Pause, feel. Inhale as I simplify. Exhale, I find ease. Pause, feel. As I simplify, I find ease. 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 Now we're just going to switch it up. Simplify, ease. Simplify on the inhale, ease on the exhale. Simplify, ease. 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 Next one. Quiet inhale, silent inhale. Exhale, ease. Inhale. Exhale, ease. Planting that seed. Inhale. Exhale, ease. Inhale, exhale, ease, feel. Inhale, exhale, ease, feel. Inhale, exhale, ease, feel. Keep going on your own. Ease. Keep going. Inhale, exhale, ease, feel. finish the round that you're doing now and release the mantra. Just be with the sensations in the body. You've planted the seed. Now you trust in the process. And as we draw this meditation to a close, can we just take this meditation out with us? As you know, you've planted the seed, we let it go, and we wait for a response. We wait for life to show us. So rather than close the practice, continue the practice as you move through your day. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this practice. It took about 10 minutes, I think. And we did one full round of 108 beads. Everybody's going to be at a different speed. Some will be faster, some will be slower. It also depends on the mantra that you use. So I hope you enjoyed that. And if you want to do more, let's do the Zoom together on Friday. I'll leave the details in another post. Thanks everyone. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.